You ready? You gonna come and say hello? Hi guys, this is Dreaming in Fibre. I am Sarah, your host from sarastexturecrafts.com. This is an extra episode this month. I don't normally do sort of mid-month shows, but as I explained probably last month and the extra show before, I'm going to try and do these over the summer where I can, obviously show allowing. But it suddenly occurred to me today, looking at my show schedule and thinking in terms of production, that the show that will be due to go out at the beginning of July might not have a huge amount of content, purely for the fact... You're going to come and say hi? Just got Patch down here. Hello. Might not have a huge amount of content because I'm going to be just crazy with production. So, extreme patchy close up there. So I thought it would be quite nice just to have a quick chat, show you what I'm up to, also talk about a couple of things that are in the shop, and just check in and see how you guys are, because this time of year it's quite nice to talk about crafts and things. People are, you know, starting to go outside now. The weather's changing, and a lot of people also are doing a lot of crafting for things like Tour de Fleece and possibly during the World Cup and so on. So I thought it might be quite nice to do a quick sort of catch up and say hi and let you know what's going on here at HQ. So I'm going to, and I apologise, I'm looking down at my show notes. I'm going to move them up there, and that way I won't be reaching out of shot too often. We're going to start with shop updates today. Let's take a look at a couple of inserts. I'm going to insert those here. As you can see, there were some new things for the shop over the last couple of updates. One, I think you might have seen at the end of the last podcast, which was a few weeks ago now. But the last one in particular, if I sort of give you a quick heads up about that one, it's quite a lot of new semi-solid colourways that I've dyed up for the shop. Also some colour sets. Now the colour sets are quite important because they... Listen to her rummaging in my stuff. You'll be good now. You're going to come and sit down? You're going to come and sit down? Okay. Hello. See? And you say hello to everybody. Say, wave hello. Yeah, so they're quite important because they're new for me, but I think also they're going to be quite important to those of you who want to do sort of make your own gradient spins, or create 3-plies with quite a lot of colour variation, so your own unique sort of marl yarns. Now, in the last episode, I'm hoping I mentioned, if I didn't, I'll mention it again briefly here. On the blog craftsofTexture.com, I'm doing a how to spin gradient yarns series, and we started from scratch looking at how to quickly make a couple of basic sort of faux gradients, in other words using semi-solid colours or solid colours from your stash to create your own gradient yarns. We've been slowly working our way through, and now we're on to hand dyed, and we're going to move on in the next month to 2 months on different ways that you might choose to spin up your said gradients, and those are hand dyed gradients you've either bought from my shop or you've bought from other indie dyers, or that you've dyed yourself. So pop along and check that out. But also, going back to these colour sets, I thought it was quite nice to release the colour sets so that you have an opportunity to make up some of your own gradients in your own colourways. So we've got those as options for you. I've done them in hand dyed, but also in my solid merino commercial colour range. And then the other thing I thought I would like to very quickly mention is the pre-orders. Now, I know a lot of indie dyers do this, and I used to have a custom listing available on the website, which I haven't had up probably since this time last year. Well, I'm back at it. So what I'm doing is I'm releasing just a couple of colours each week, and they will have X amount of fibre allocated to those, and they're basically dyed to order. So the latest colours are Dartmoor and Anemone, and you can get those on Blueface Leicester or Merino Sparkle. As soon as you place your orders, I will literally dye those to order. Normally my turnaround is 1 week, but I've put 1 to 3 weeks in there just because, I mean, particularly for now, and also September, where I've got again 2 major shows in 1 month. I just want to give myself a little bit of a buffer and not really sort of damage your idea of sort of expectations of, you know, me getting it out really quickly. Occasionally that happens, but I'll be in touch with you the whole way through. So if you want something quite quickly, email me first, and then I can let you know what my current schedule is, and then you can buy it either now or wait until another month when things have sort of calmed down a bit. So those are sort of shop update news bits and pieces for you. I hope those have been useful and sparked your appetite. The next thing I wanted to give a quick heads up about was giving you a sort of reveal shot of Fibre Club 5 and Yarn Club 1. This is the first time I've done them in conjunction, and they have utilised the same colours. So I'm going to insert a picture here. Thanks, Patch, for that earwag there. And then I'm going to show you some colours. So this colourway was based on Rosemore, which is a National Trust. No, it's not a National Trust. It's a Royal Horticultural Society garden here in Devon. There are lots of these gardens up and down the UK, but here in Devon, that's my most local garden, and it's one of those places that I have found particularly inspiring over the 5 years since I've been back in Devon. Always colour and texture abounds there, so you know, if you're kind of stuck for ideas, it's one of those places to go, really. So I dyed up these colourways. Now the light here probably doesn't do them as much justice as they are in real life, but they're almost quite close to the colours actually on the fibre and skein there. So that's this is the BFL option, and this is the sock option for the yarn. So these are my samples that I've kept, and I did another small tester for a quick spin, and you really can't see that, so I'm going to insert a picture here. And hopefully you'll see the colours better on that, but yeah, it gives you an idea of a basic 2-ply, how that will variegate from the fibre to the yarn. I've not knit that up, not knit any of it up yet. I'm tempted to do a little something, maybe like a headband or something for me for the winter. This is not on a BFL base, this was on, I think, Shetland or something, so the colours have come out slightly darker. That can happen with changing fibre bases and fibre options, but if you check out the Ravelry group, Sara's Texture Crafts, you might start seeing some of those colourways being spun up or knit up. The next colour will be released next month, so probably in a couple of podcast time I will show you that one. I'm hoping again that it will be a nice bright sort of summery colour, because that's how I'm feeling with this gorgeous weather that we're having. And you probably notice here ever so slightly that I got a little bit burnt already. Must put some suntan lotion on when I walk the dog, I really must. So that was Fibre and Yarn Club. I thought I would talk, and I'm just going to manoeuvre myself into a slightly different position because I'm sitting on my feet and they really hurt. Sorry about that. That's better, isn't it? It is better, isn't it? Yeah. So I was going to talk a little bit about my recent spinning and the craft along that's still going on over in the Ravelry group. I finished a couple of handspun skeins. This is my chocolate orange. This is from one of the bats in the shop, and I will insert a picture here. And I got a 4-ply art yarn from 40 grams. I got 92.4 meters, and I'm hoping you can see that I did sort of coils and areas of wrapping. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'm really loving the colour, really loving that. So enjoyed spinning that. And then next I spun up some of my Shepherd's Delight on a Falkland base. So I'm going to insert a series of pictures here. And I got a DK weight. I had 168 grams of this and I got 297.6 meters. So that's quite a nice amount. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to knit yet. So any ideas, and send me a message. Send me a link on Ravelry to patterns that you like. But I'm really liking the way the colours came out on this one. And what I particularly like about this one is that it's quite pertinent to the colours that are inspiring me right now. Quite often in the evenings when we're walking the dog as the sun's setting, you're getting this really beautiful sort of purples and oranges and reds streaking across the sky, and it's really lovely to see all these different beautiful sunsets. So that's the colourway that's really inspiring me at the moment. So I would like to start knitting it up, but I'm feeling a bit precious because it's so apt for me right now. I'm feeling a bit precious with it, and it needs to be that perfect project. So if you've got any ideas, then let me know. The next things are works in progress. I won't show you what's on the wheel. I've got a couple of different things that I'm working on, but I will show you my spindles. I'm back to the spindle. For this one, I'm going to insert a picture here. This is actually an art bat. I've got to a really boring white stage. What I had in this bat was quite a selection of lots of different things, and I'll talk more about that when I have a finished skein. But it's quite nice to get back to spindle spinning, because I spin much finer naturally on the spindle. And the reason why I'm saying white is boring is not because I feel that white is in any way boring, but I've got so much colour underneath there that you can't see. It's unreal. In fact, actually, from this same bat, I already finished a small skein, so let me just reach over. See if I can grab that. Just so you can see, I and ply. So it's got quite a halo to it just because it's got so much stuff in it. But even though there's a fair amount of white, it's not too overpowering in the actual finished skein. Because I and ply, I get a lot more barber poling than I might do if I applied this in a regular 2-ply. And it also is easier for me to and ply. That's what I prefer to do on the spindle. So I've got that one going. And then on my lovely little Turkish spindle, sorry, that spindle was one of my Ashford spindles that I sell in the shop. This one, this little Turkish spindle, is a spindle I bought from, I want to say, First Crafts. and you'll find them mostly at British shows. I do believe he has a website, and I'll try and insert that into the show notes. So check out dreamingandfibre.blogspot.com, and you'll find the link to the guy who makes these. I see him, his son and his daughter at most shows, and he's always quite near me as well, which is a bit of a killer because it means that I have the urge to buy another spindle. This is the second spindle I have from him, and just like the Ashford ones, they spin like a dream. It's the first time I'm actually using a Turkish spindle. I've had this one a while, and it's really only the last couple of days that I've picked it up and wanted to start working on it. So I guess the thing I find different is that normally I use a top whirl spindle. So the point at which I, as I'm spinning it, the point at which I flick the spindle to put spin into the fibre, is I normally go from the bottom, and of course you can't do that. So I'm not saying I'm finding it particularly difficult now. I'm getting much better at it, but I'm trying to flick from this area. I'm finding it, because I tend to drop quite a long way, and I draft quite, I do a long draw essentially when I'm spindle spinning, which is something I don't do on the wheel. So I haven't got the length in my arms to catch this at the bottom and flick it. So I'm finding that a little bit difficult. Also, this whole hitch knot at the top, which keeps, sorry, going quite off screen there, the little hitch knot there that keeps your yarn in this sort of wedge there. Finding that a bit difficult as well, just because I'm not used to that. All of the Ashford spindles I have a hook on the top, so I'm used to being much quicker with that. And then the final thing that's quite new for me is learning how to wrap the cop. Normally on these spindles you just literally wrap up and down in the same motion. Here, you go under 2 over 1, under 2 over 1, and it's initially, as you get going with it, it's a bit of a headache to say the least, but you do get the hang of it. I'm sure when I pick it up again tonight I might find that a bit difficult again, but you do get the hang of it, and I'm quite enjoying it. So that's my spinning. If I quickly move on to the knitting, I haven't really been wanting to knit much. I've actually been more in the mood for spinning. So I've just literally just finished a pair of socks, which is something. And I think I showed you these last time as just a cast on, or I might have finished one, but there we go, that's the finished pair. So I'm quite pleased with those. That was in the Drops Fable print yarn. It says superwash treated wool. It's 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And I'm quite pleased with how they've come out. And from my 50-gram ball, I have that much left. So just enough to keep it back, just in case I need to do any repairing on the heels and toes. But those are going to go to my mum when I next see her, so I'm quite pleased with those. I've got a couple of things that I kind of want to cast on, but I'm not really putting too much pressure on myself at this stage, because I've got the Somerset Guild in a couple of weeks, which I've been dyeing all week for, and I'll possibly be dyeing for that again next week. I really need to have a look at what I've got, but certainly I need to start work on all of the July stuff, and also July's Fibre and Yarn Club as well, so quite a lot to do really. So I'm going to leave that there this week. I think as a sort of extra episode, that's more than enough said, and it's just a real quick hello. I hope that wherever you are, you have beautiful sunshine, and are enjoying beautiful weather like we are. If you're in the southern hemisphere, then I hope that your autumn is wonderful and you're seeing all those beautiful autumnal colours and starting to knit all of those sweaters and everything that you've been keeping back. So I think until next time, that's probably it from me and Patch here at Sara's Texture Crafts HQ. So all I have left to do is wish you a very pleasant June, and I will see you in July. So keep dreaming in fibre, guys, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.